After my mom was gone, I felt beyond lonely. I felt like there'd been some terrible mistake and that God was going to find me and apologize and bring my mom right back so we could still do what we always did, which was to read magazines together and watch TV shows about celebrities and Google any details we weren't sure about, like the exact square footage of a celebrity's beachfront Malibu home, or the age of another celebrity's much younger third husband, or the brand of eco-friendly guest towels made from hemp, which the much younger third husband swore by. It sounds silly and loony, but my mom loved all of that gossip and information, and while I was growing up, those stars and their favorite designers and their spa treatments were like my fairy tales, and I memorized the details of every strappy sandal and contested prenup and 5-step system for removing eye makeup, because my mom and I could have the best time just by talking really seriously about ridiculous things. No one could make the world seem sparkling and enchanted the way my mom could. 3 weeks after my mom's funeral, while I was getting her clothes together to give to the church, I came across her favorite sweater, which was a Volkswagen-sized cardigan of hot pink acrylic yarn crocheted with powder blue bunnies holding Easter baskets. My mom had loved holiday-themed clothing, and the sweater was so neon bright and cheery that I started crying again, because the bunnies reminded me so much of my mom and of how incredibly hopeful she'd been. I curled up inside the sweater, which became my hot pink acrylic igloo, and I kept sobbing, because while my mom had been obsessed with glamour and romance and magic, she'd never had any of those things in her life, and that was pretty much going to be my life too. As I was sniffling and nibbling some stale peanut M&Ms I'd found in the sweater's pockets, I heard a few notes of my mom's ringtone, coming from beneath a mound of her Christmas, Thanksgiving, and St. Patrick's Day sweaters. We weren't Irish, but my mom had fallen hard for a Kelly green hoodie with sequined shamrocks. I froze because my mom hadn't had many friends, so I wondered who could be calling. But when I looked under the sweaters for her phone, it wasn't there. Instead, there was a pearl gray shoebox. The shoebox said Tom Kelly in silvery, almost invisible letters, and at first I thought it was empty because it was really light and just filled with crumpled up tissue paper. But as I was about to toss the whole thing, I heard something rattle, and so I uncrumpled the tissue paper and found one of those little hinged velvet boxes, like for an engagement ring. Only the little velvet box was empty too, but then, tucked under the piece of velvet-covered cardboard where the ring would go, there was a scrap of paper ripped from the flap of an envelope, with a phone number scribbled on it in pencil, and the phone number had a New York area code. I didn't call the number for a week because I was afraid. It was like on my mom's death certificate where it said cause of death. I felt like instead of saying complications from diabetes, there might be that phone number. But then I decided that I was being superstitious, and besides, that phone number was the closest I'd ever been to New York or anywhere except East Trolley. So I called the number, and a lady answered, and she asked me my name. And then, 15 minutes later, the lady called back and offered me $1,000 and a plane ticket. I asked my best friend, Rocher Bargemuller, what I should do. Rocher's mother had named her after a box of imported gold foil-wrapped chocolates, and most people pronounce it Rocher, although when Rocher is being fancy, she calls herself Rocher, and when the other kids in first grade were being mean, they called her Roach Motel. Wait, so you called this number, and some lady wants to send you $1,000 and a plane ticket to New York? Rocher asked while we were on our breaks from working checkout at the Super Shop-a-Lot. There were also regular shop-a-lots, but adding the words